going on, everybody? Went out to the local paint store here with Lisa and Steve, and they picked out the color for their 64 Chevy Impalas. This beautiful red, almost like a candy red. It's really cool. Me and A-Rod went to a local car show here at CMU Tech, and we ended up winning. And honestly, I didn't film any of it. We were just hanging out. Kaylee and the kids were busy that day, and I didn't think that we were really needed to video it, just because we had just videoed the car show in Moab, and we were just kind of being lazy and just kind of hanging out and enjoying it, and just hanging out with everybody. So I got a few pictures, but that's pretty much all I got from this show. But it was a really good time there. We got trophies made by the students there, so I thought that was really cool and really neat. So we went ahead and put it in here. It was a really good time, really good day. Rory, Mike, and Sean stopped by and seen me and actually dropped off a RC car to me. I thought it was for A-Rod, but A-Rod went out of his way and bought it for me out of Moab. Sean went and picked it up, and these guys dropped it off to me and hung out for a minute. I thought that was really cool. I appreciate those guys for that. And yeah, we've just been kind of busy all over the place. I was standing along, kind of got going here, and got to this point right here. Here's the bad spot. That is all bondo, and it looks thick. Now, sorry, I've been sanding, but this is just one of the things that you run into. We kind of knew about this spot already, but I think we're just going to dive right in here, see how bad it is, see how much metal we have to replace, if we have to replace any. I grab my scraper right here. It's pretty bad when you got to grab an old scraper. And look at that. Look at that. So that's been holding water for a long time, if it's like that. So you know there's going to be some rust. I'm really scared to do this, but man. Oh, can you see in there? It's rusted. It's not rusted through, but it's dang sure rusted, and it's probably going to have to be replaced. Probably have to cut a piece in there. Oh, this is just one of the things, guys. One of the things you run into. It's just one of those things. We already kind of knew about it, so let's go ahead and keep going here. Let's see what we got. Oh my gosh. Look how thick that is. And honestly, what they would have had to do, now it's all rusted. But when they made this repair, all they would have had to do was literally just pull the dent out. So that sucks. That sucks right there. They could have went inside, there's a door panel in there, and literally just pushed the dent out, or, you know, pulled it, you know. Wow. Okay. It's one of the things you run into. And I warned Lisa and Steve that this was going to be a thing, or could possibly be turned into a real problem. And I'm telling you right now, that is not good. Seems like it's pretty solid so far. Let's just keep peeling it back, I guess, and we'll see. That is just terrible. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, it's almost like gooey. It's not like breaking like I thought it would. Or I've seen in the past, usually it just snaps off like it's gooey, almost rubbery. That is so weird. Oh man. I got my work cut out for me. I'll tell you what, guys. Look at that. Just insane. Look at that. That's good metal. This was holding water because it cracked from up here, and water was just going down in there and sitting. So at least that's good metal. I don't think it's rusted through. I sure hope not. But, I mean, we got to weld a piece in, which we might actually have to do anyways. It's not the end of the world. Pull a plastic screwdriver. It was the closest one. I know. I know you're not supposed to do this. Man, there it goes. As far as I can see, the cracking stops right here. So it goes at least that far. That sucks. It's a lot of extra work. There. Look at that. Can you believe that? Somebody knew they were getting away with something, or they actually thought they were doing a good job. They pulled it out a little bit right there and left the holes, and you see, you can see cracking all the way to right here. Then there's no more cracking. So I'm guessing that's coming back to here somewhere, where there's just a little bit of body filler. I'm guessing the body filler comes all the way back to here, but where there's just a little bit of body filler, the correct amount, no cracking, till right there where it starts getting deeper, 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 and deepest right around this area right here. Wow. All right, well, we are uncovering some mysteries. So I'm gonna have to make this piece, this flat piece in here, and then shape this piece in here. Maybe cut, clear, maybe just cut this whole thing out, make a whole new piece. That's a pretty easy bend to make. I don't even have to use a hammer to make that bend. Oh. It ain't gonna matter, nope. Get the big stuff broke out of there, then I'll grab the grinder with a sanding disc and we'll just make a mess and sand it all out of there. Look at that. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? And I'm betting somebody thought they were doing a pretty good job. Here we go, getting thinner and thinner and thinner. See, correct amount of body filler, no cracking. I bet there's body filler clear out here. He put a half a gallon or a gallon just right there. Please don't do that. Man, looks like I'm gonna be here for a while. It's alright, I got nowhere to be. Well, that problem got a lot bigger, you guys can see. And right here we have a patch panel put in. So the old school way of doing stuff is, you know, a lot of you guys will know, you used to drill holes into stuff or use like a self tapper and then put your slide hammer on it and yank on it. That's exactly what they did here. The only problem was I wouldn't have pulled here first. It is really indented right here. I would have started pulling here, pulled it out, and then pulled that as I went. You know what I'm saying? Just kept doing that. There's a big hole right here. Big hole. That's where a lot of that bondo was. Right here, obviously, is a big problem. Right there is concaved in that way, so they needed to pull this down and pull it out, pull this up and pull it out to get that to stretch back out. And they didn't do it. Also, another thing, I've even used this method way back in the day, helping my uncle on stuff. It works fine, but you got to weld the holes back up. They didn't. So they 100% absolutely should have welded those holes back up and just kept working it. Looks like this was a real quick job, in and out deal. This is so thin. I don't know if I can get it, catch that moving. That is some really, really thin metal. So that's making me nervous. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out. I'm gonna cut this chunk out eventually, but I'm gonna use it right now to pull everything else. I'm gonna use it right now to pull everything else out. Kind of the way it should have been done the first time, I feel. This is a mess. This is another repair. This is pink bondo. I would imagine that's from Walmart, the old pink bondo. So that's a different repair. That repair wasn't this, but I'm assuming the damage or rust that came for the reason that they had to change this or cut this out and do this was due just to this whole little deal here. So the car was hit pretty good. It was crunched right there. They did pull it out mostly, but they didn't get it all the way out. It's still a little caved in right there. We got a big hole, like I said, right there. Another big hole right next to it. This is probably about right. So we want to just keep moving, and then so you're gonna have a ripple effect. So it's gonna go in and out, in and out, in and out, all the way down. So story continues, I guess. Look at this. That is just a piece of galvanized steel. Oh, I got a mess on my hands. Look at that. Look at that. I just ripped that metal just with my welding pliers. So, looks like I need to raise the car up more because I need to get under there. So I can still use this. This is double layered. That ain't going nowhere. I'll clean it up. I'll clean it way back. And then when I build this piece, we'll make a little piece that comes around, and then we'll cut to match that. Oh man. Hopefully this is the worst on this car. I was hoping this car was going to have a quick turnaround. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's all good and solid. The inner structure is a little damaged. We'll have to cut that out as well on the inside there and make sure nothing splashes up on the inside of this once we get it put back together. So I'll cut that out as well. We'll build that piece, then we'll set this in here and make a piece there. After wondering what I was going to do and more or less how I was going to do it, so I noticed a bigger problem even down here. So before I put any metal to this or start making any metal to this, I want this straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this, work this metal, get this as straight as possible before I ever even do this, because if I do it later, then the piece that I made is not gonna be right and it's gonna be in there in a bind, and I don't want that. So I want it to be relaxed. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working this, and I'm getting a phone call. Oh, dang it. So yeah, just kind of for visual reference, I guess, that's what we're dealing with. That's how far off it is, just everywhere. You know what I mean? You know, and then there's that hole there. Then there's that hole there. Like I said, and it goes that whole way. Hopefully you guys can see this. This one's another really bad one. You know, I mean, look at that. There's a lot of gas. I can almost put my finger through there. So yeah, I don't want to make this piece of metal to that. So I want to go ahead and get this pretty much into place where I'm going to get it as close as I can possibly get it, and then make the metal down here. And it goes back further here. It goes down to about here. So I'm going to have to make this whole bottom piece down here, maybe cut it up to here, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut clear across to here, square this off. I don't like doing that stuff, the steps and all that. Just might as well just come straight up, come straight over, and then I'll put the patch panel down here in the very bottom. I looked under the car. I actually raised the car up quite a bit more. That's about as high as I can get it. But I looked underneath the car on both sides, and this side is the only side that's got that. So yeah, it's just a little weak under there. So anyways, we'll keep going. I'll go ahead and stud gun some more, and then we'll start pulling on it. Got my little Harbor Freight stud welder. Just gonna put these pretty much every little place I kind of think I need them. I'm not gonna yank on them real hard. I'm not gonna yank on them real hard or nothing like that. And then I'm gonna give, and while I'm kind of, sometimes I'll just pull on it. You don't have to slide hammer it. Sometimes you just pull on it and just tap around it, and you'll watch it kind of come out with you. It's actually kind of fun sometimes to do that stuff, but it can be a real royal pain in the butt. I'll probably have to do this quite a few times here. Oh, I probably won't get it all just one shot, and that's okay. And that's all right. Anybody else have those days where they just drop everything? Like literally you can't keep your hands from dropping stuff. I'm having one of those days. I've dropped just about everything today. And I'm really getting tired of it. Oh yeah. That's actually working really good. That's actually working really good, so maybe some change in here. Not hitting it real hard, just giving her a good Not a but a you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Not a good but a just a Just give her a See, I can just hold it, some good pressure, pull on it pretty good. Just start shaping that a little bit. Just like that. Just like that. It's like I need to put a couple more right here. Just work your way around. Don't go right in the center of it first. Work your way around it first. Pull the center out last. Seems to work for me the best that way. That's how I was kind of more or less shown. More or less. See there? Okay. Try. Oh, that one broke off too. Dang it. No cheap stud deal ain't stud dealing anymore. Slightly. See right there, I can already tell we're pulling it, but we're pulling this too far. Yep. That one right there I think did the most good for that little section. And we just keep moving around. If we're doing any good or not, but yeah, that's looking a lot better. But we got to pull all this out. But like I said, I'm probably going to cut all this out. I don't want the low spots, but I want to get the low spots for the most part handled right now. So it looks like I can do a couple studs here, through here, maybe pull some of that out, and like I said, we'll cut that out of there because there's no reason to have all that Swiss cheese in there. That's all we can do, but yeah, we'll get rid of all this. I can't live with myself. So we'll get all the dents pulled for the most part and get them real close to where we just need a skim of filler, body filler, you know. So much closer everywhere, like everywhere, so much closer, but we still got a ways to go. Like down there, got a lot more work to do right there, but down there is looking really good. I can fit it between these two, but it's coming along. And that tall point ain't tall point no more, or that high point right there isn't a high point anymore. So yeah, that's working out good. And we'll just break those off and grind everything flat. You'll see me kind of weld every now and then, just to nothing. What I'm doing is shrinking the metal right there. So if the metal will get like flimsy, you know, you'll pop a dent and it'll pop over here, it'll pop over there. If you do couple little tacks here and there, kind of around where you're working, it'll stiffen that stuff right up. Break these off. But yeah, it'll stiffen the metal right back up if you do that. So sometimes I'll just do a random little tack weld, tack weld, tack weld. That's all I'm doing is stiffening that metal up. And it shrinks it up real good, and then you pull it in the center, and then it stays where it's supposed to stay. Because sometimes you'll pull it, and then it'll pop down over here, but it'll pop up over here. So if you do that, and just keep working it around every now and then, you'll eventually get it all stiff, and it'll all come out together, if that makes any sense. But I gotta run, I gotta get to Tyler's game, but we'll come back tomorrow, and we'll get busy on this thing. That's looking a lot better. Just takes a little time, a little more work, and a few more hits here and there, and a few more taps, and we'll get it. And then we'll start cutting in pieces of metal, or cutting out the old metal, and then cutting in new pieces of metal and shaping them and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of shaping to be done. I'm actually probably just gonna bend it in my vise like I always do, kind of get the shape more or less started that way, and then when we weld it in, we'll already be heading in the right direction.